Hello, welcome to my channel and welcome to my mid-year Techo Kaigi. I did not post a video about this in January, but I thought it would be nice to just check in with my notebooks since I want to post more notebook content on this channel. Before I jump into my 2025 notebooks, I wanted to quickly cover what I used in 2024. I have a personal planner, work planner, and 2 journals here. So starting with the journals, I have a Leuchtturm 1917 and a Midori MD A5. Actually, all of these notebooks are A5s. And the Leuchtturm is just a long form journal, although I did use the index for journaling prompts. And then same thing with the Midori. It's just writing. One thing I did do is sort of use like 2/3 of the page for some reason when I started, but by the end I was mostly using the full page. All right, so then set those aside. I think next I'll talk about the work notebook. This is an official bullet journal notebook, so you can see it's pretty thick compared to the other one, which I can show you side by side. Yeah, all these ribbons. Yeah, so it's very thick paper. I think it's 120 GSM. And I'll show a few pages in here that I've marked off. So I started out using the official bullet journal method pretty much. However, by the end, I was sort of using an Alistair method for my task list for work, and I'll show that a little bit in my current notebook. But yeah, I like these. They're pretty functional. And you'll see a theme across all of my notebooks in that I am a blank notebook person. I need to have complete freedom to do whatever I want on a page. So moving on to my 2024 planners, I basically have my planners split into half of the year each. The first one is a black bullet journal method notebook with I think this might have been an anniversary version. It's got some gold foiling here. How many pages I want to show? Yeah, nothing really exciting about this notebook. It did chunk up a lot because I've got a lot of stuff in the pocket, and yeah, so it's a little chunky. And then this is a blank Hobonichi grid notebook that I used. I experimented a little bit in this notebook with some different things, so which I haven't censored anything, so I'm not going to show it, but basically I experimented with like different weekly layouts and different setups to figure out what worked the best for me. And for this notebook, this is basically it had the monthly setups, and then it went straight into dailies for most of it, and I think I did have some weeklies towards the end, and then after like the weeklies it would have just like whatever. In this notebook it was a little different because I had full weekly setups followed by basically a commonplace at the end, and I changed the system as my needs evolved. So coming into 2025, I really wanted to go smaller. So if you look at my stack from, my notebooks are falling. Stack from last year compared to my stack from this year. So it's definitely a little smaller. Last year was all a bunch of A5s, so if I was going somewhere, I would potentially have to carry like 3 or 4 A5s. This year, I definitely wanted something smaller, and I really debated over what I wanted to do. So one thing I noticed is that I needed a place for like housekeeping, house management, family planning, that sort of stuff. Or not family planning, but like planning for family. And then I wanted something that was very modular, so Traveler's Notebook stood out for that. And then for work, pretty much, well, it was working for me, so I wanted to continue that. And I'll start with the 2025 work notebook. So this is a Moterm A5 zip cover in, I think it's pebbled top. And yeah, I actually just got this. So before, my work notebook was just sort of out on my desk, but it never leaves my desk, so I'm not worried about it. What I have in the pockets is some stuff for next year. I'm already thinking about 2026. And for my work notebook for 2026, I'm sticking with the same thing. It's just going to be in a fresh notebook. So I do have a few pages I'll show because I pretty much have a system and I know what I'm really using versus not using in this notebook. So for my monthlies, I'm trying to use up the bullet journal stickers that come with the notebooks. So I have monthlies set up. I fill them in as needed. I don't reference them a whole lot, but they are there for me to use. And then for weeklies, I again have this Alistair method. I do have some stickers here and there just to use them up. So these today stickers are by Happy Planner. I got them at Michael's on sale, and it comes with a ton of stickers. I really didn't, was not prepared for how many stickers there were. So I really want to hone and refine my sticker collection next year. So my goal this year is to use up as many stickers as physically possible. So I've just stuck stickers everywhere in all of my notebooks. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to show for my work notebook. It's working out pretty well. I do, if I have a lot going on in a week, I use sticky notes to break out the days and what I'm going to do each day, but I mostly rely on the running list. Okay, so next I'll talk about the family planner since that will be quick as well. This is an A6 Hobonichi Techo original in the One Piece collab format. I have a clear cover on it, and one thing I'll note about the clear cover is that I broke the pen holder, so I just cut it off. So this notebook, and I have something here. Oh, this notebook covers, I call it my home planner, covers meal planning, chores and projects for the house, covers gardening, covers media that we watch together, as well as some bills and paycheck information. And yeah, so I just have like a little mood board here for the year. I've tried a couple things for the index. Originally, I was using it as a meal tracker, to see what meals we ate and when. But I've moved over to using it as more of an index, and that actually hasn't really stuck. So I might go back to using it as a meal tracker, might not. In the, this is fine. In the monthlies, actually, I'll show April, I guess. And yeah, so April is a good example of kind of how I'm using this notebook, or the monthlies. I have meals here. I have some shows that we're watching. I have things that are happening. I have how much we're spending on groceries. I have some bill stickers and some payday stickers. Yeah, so I just wanted this to be like a all-in-one place. And then I guess as an example for how I'm using the dailies, so this was yesterday, and I'm filming this in May, by the way. So basically I'm using it to track meals again, media, and then garden planning. On days that I don't write a lot, I'm sort of just using this as a commonplace. So let me see if I can find an example. So here's one example where I've used this to write down a recipe to reference later. So this is something I make often, and I will continually reference it. And I put it in here so I didn't have to look it up every time I wanted to make it. And then another example is, let's see if I can find one. Lots of gardening. This is a good example. I have a picture of seeds that we planted that week, and as well as some information about growing tomatoes. So you can see that I've sort of switched up which pens I've used. I haven't decided what I'm going to keep using. Next year, I definitely want to stick with one pen in my family planner. But for right now, I'm sort of bouncing around between pencil and fountain pen, and then I did toy with using a Pilot friction pen as well as a Bic 4-way pen. I've used a Muji pen in this notebook. I've been all over the place, and I'm not really settled with that. But yeah, that's the home planner. And then this, last but not least, is my favorite notebook, my traveler's notebook. I've got 3 charms on here. This is from the Quaco. I think one of their pen cases has this on it. I have a little rabbit here from someone I follow on Patreon, as well as my initial. So jumping right in, the first thing I have here is a Lauren Phelps design. I think that's her name. Yeah, you can kind of see it. I'll bend this back. I have one of these covers from her, and it allows you to have notebooks in your traveler's notebook without using jump bands. So I'm using the middle elastic, but that's all I'm using here. And you can have up to 5 notebooks in your traveler's notebook with this cover. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I actually bought like 4 or 5 of them because I thought I would need one around every notebook, but I only ended up needing one. So we'll see. I might sell them, might give them away. I'm not sure yet. But you don't really need a lot of them, and that's something I didn't realize when I bought them. My first insert is my health notebook. I use it to track various health conditions and goals. I use basically a symbol system, and it's basically a monthly log at a very high level. And then I also have sections for a detailed log and notes, which I will not show. But yeah, this is I've been doing this for a while. I used to use, oh, I don't, where'd it go? I guess that's another notebook from 2024 that I didn't cover, but last year, probably in April, I used an April Start Hobonichi Weeks to track health stuff, and I found that was just too much. I couldn't just see things at a glance, and it really bothered me. So next thing I have is one of these clear cover things, and I keep printables in here mostly. And yeah, on the other side I have some washi paper and some little things that I reference. And then moving on to my planner. This is a Serica Studios regular sized notebook. It's 100 pages of white Tomoe River paper. I have some stickers that I bought on Etsy here, as well as the Travelers Company sticker. There's a shadow from like my phone with the ring light over it, so it's kind of weird, but yeah, so I've been using this as my planner, and you can see it's very chunked up from, it's me and my husband, you can tell it's really chunked up from like stickers and stuff. So here I have a mood board, my word of the year, and my values, as well as a reference for the full year. Then I go into some monthlies, and here's an example. So I set this up and I do not reference it at all. So one thing I'm going to do for next year is just have a blank monthly page, and it'll just be a catch-all for the month. But I do have monthlies, and then I go straight into weeklies. And I think this week is a good example. It's not really a good example, but basically, actually, let me show you this week. I just set this up. This is, again, example of me trying to use up those Happy Planner stickers, as well as just whatever other stickers I have. I started out the year, which I guess I'll go back to the first week of the year, doing like lines and measuring everything out and really being more strict about sizing. And then gradually I started getting out of that. So here I'm already in January at the end, I'm already not drawing lines between the days of the week. And maybe if anyone's interested, I can do a full flip through of my notebook, but where I am today is basically not doing any lines. I have the days of the week at the top. I'm probably not going to draw a calendar anymore, and I'm just going to have the weekdays as well, and then just put whatever I want on these pages. And this is sort of a catch-all memory keeper and things I need to do planner, but it's not super strict. I don't really track anything closely anymore. In the back, where I have a memo tab from the Travelers Company stickers, is just sort of catch-all notes. It's not really a commonplace, although I do have some sort of like commonplacing type information in here, but you can see I started out with some lists. And it's just mostly things I want to remember. And then after this notebook, I have some loose paper here, and this is for notebook thoughts. I didn't mention it, but the first notebook is from Jet Pens, and I think it's a collaboration between Jet Pens and Kaiso, I think is the brand, but it's 128 pages, and I find that that's kind of a lot, and I'm going to do something a little different next year. So what I did was I went in the middle of the notebook and I pulled out all of the like extra pages I didn't think I was going to use, and it basically resulted in having a second notebook. And I recently started using that for collecting thoughts about 2026, and just sort of like when I have all consuming thoughts about notebooks, this is where I put them. I was using a pocket notebook sort of stuck into this notebook, and it was sort of bulking things up even more. So I thought that this was a good compromise, and it's something I'm probably just going to throw away, but I might not because I don't throw away any of my notebooks. And then I have my journal for this year. This is a Baumkuchen Travelers Company collaboration grid notebook. It is 128 pages of cream Tomoe River paper, with probably a 3mm grid. I think that's also what the Serica Studios is. And I think that the grid in the Jet Pens notebook is 5mm, but don't hold me to that. Yeah, so this is probably my favorite insert that I've used for Travelers Company, except I don't love the gray, which any other time I would love a gray notebook, but I like brown, and I wanted to match my cover. If I had a black Travelers notebook, that would be nice, but then it wouldn't match my purse, which is a whole other thing that maybe if I do a whole video about this notebook, I'll talk about. But yeah, so I just put this scrapbooking paper over it with a label and a sticker, and then the first page is just a cute little cover page. This is from this journal is an altar from what is her name? Erin something. Not Erin Ware. I do have printables from Erin Ware, but no, it's a different Erin on the internet. That she's got really cool stuff, and I follow her on Substack. But yeah, this is a stamp from her. And then I have this cutout from my Hobonichi weeks from last year, where I'm tracking the days that I journal, which you can see that it's been a struggle past couple of months, but I'm trying to get back into it. And then this journal is just free writing. I started out the year using a date stamp, and I've already gotten rid of that. The decorations you see in here are, I think they might be by Midori, but I'm not sure. But they're those rub-on like friction stickers, and I had a ton of them left over last year, and I just went in and put them in this notebook at the beginning of the year, and so everything's pre-decorated. And then here is my 2025 Travelers Company pencil board. I put the sticker on it and just like a little cute little collage thing that I made on Canva and with some printouts. Yeah, and then my last insert in my Traveler's notebook is my sticker release notebook, or sticker release insert, and it, so basically what I have here is I have some tabs. I put one of the pockets on the inside of this notebook, and then I have the sticker release paper here. And what I did with this is that I ripped out the middle section. I think I ripped out like half of the sheets, and in my last video you saw that I cut some of those down to put into my pocket, or my passport traveler's notebook, and then they just hold stickers in my ephemera folio, and they're there for me to transfer over into this, which is my like carry around notebook. And it really thinned it out. I had originally been thinking about replacing this with a passport sized and keeping it in here, but this works perfectly. In the back, I actually have an envelope with some printouts from different artists, and I'm toying with the idea of no longer using this guy, my plastic cover, in order to reduce bulk. My whole goal with all of my notebook systems is to reduce bulk as much as possible. So I want my traveler's notebook next year to be half this size, and I'll make a video in the future about how I plan to do that, probably in a 2025 Techo Kaigi or 2026, but we'll see. Yeah, so those are all of my notebooks. I'm really happy with the system, but I am also thinking about how I can improve things for 2026. And I guess one thing I'll add is that I am not a notebook hopper. I think that it's it seems like so much work for me, so that's why I use a lot of blank notebooks. They can be anything at any given time, and I don't mind taking the time to set them up. In fact, sometimes, like, I don't set things up way ahead of time or anything. I set things up as I need them in the moment a lot of the times. And yeah, so when I check back in, you'll probably see these exact same notebooks. Sorry if that's boring, but that's just kind of how it is for me. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what notebooks you're using, if you're already thinking about 2026, and let me know if you'd like to see me flip through my traveler's notebook in more detail. But yeah, thank you again for watching, and have a great day.